So, turns out I was right. Did exactly what I thought it would. Um, you've got a beam mode, and then you've got a pure projectile mode, which is all well and good. Yeah. But the reloads basically mean you empty out the ammo in one mode, and then you switch to the other mode, you empty the ammo. And then you switch to the other mode, you empty the ammo. You switch to the other mode, and you empty the ammo. I hate units that do that. I really do. Like, if I need to stay in this mode for longer because the enemy is weak to long range, or they don't have the, if I want to do this or I want to do a little bit of this, I don't want to have to switch to this mode if they've got phase shift armor. And if I run out of ammo here, I don't want to switch to this mode because they've got an eye field. Or, some other thing. So, switching entire modes, I should be able to switch weapons, like if this one runs out, switch to this one. If this runs out, switch to this one. If this one runs out, switch to this one, and back and forth, back and forth. I should be able to do that. But I'm not entirely thrilled with the notion of switching modes, because the situation can change very quickly. This is a close range weapon, this grenade right here, and then this is the melee. Ordinarily, you put those two together. Now, that may be the nature of the beast, fair enough. But that being said, I don't like switching entire modes to keep food on the table. That just doesn't sit well with me. So it's pretty predictable in that regard. Um, Time to move on to something a little older, perhaps. One of my first SS ranks, actually, one of my first, the Infinite Justice Gundam. I've had this one for quite a while now. This was, I think it was around this time, and this is a while ago. This was back in the Paper Rock Scissors days. This was a unit that I was among the first that I considered to be a shooty rock. And it took me a while because, I still had at the time this incredible hesitation towards using melee. Not that I don't right now, but whatever. But, and I hadn't quite discovered the full pleasure of beam boomerangs at this point. So I was like, melee and melee, I'm not going to use it. And then it has a more melee here, just no thank you. But once I kind of loosened up a little bit and I learned how to MCA. I don't MCA well, but I know how to do it. Once I learned how to ZBS, I'm terrible with it, but I know how to do it. Then I kind of lightened up, and like I said, this was over 2 years ago where I finally okay, maybe I'll get this thing and play around with it. Turns out I really like using this. It's comfortable for me to use this. It's not one of my favorite units, but it's definitely, of shooty rocks, this is a good one. And here's why. Okay, so I done goofed. When I reviewed Strike Freedom, I did it with drones, and then I came in here and PvP'd. But, yeah, here I am with Koolkid. I don't really need him for this part, but, whatever. Here, What are you doing? 5 hits to knock down, takes out a little less than half the HP. Waiting. So that's what, 13 hits, I think, to kill an SS rank that isn't struggling. Eight shots, 9 with patience, and a relatively average reload. Right, that's 9. That's 10 to kill an SS rank. And yes, it is an actual long range. 1, 2, 3. Did they change this? Is this 3 or 4? 4 with a bit of patience. You'll have to wait. It is not your primary spamming weapon. This obviously is. But with 4 shots out, let's see how much damage they do. Less than half. So it's more about suppression than actual, or it's more, the long range beam cannons are more of a deterrent than anything else. So, whatever. Do I wish they had the knockdown? Not necessarily. I'm pretty certain they penetrate, though. You have to have some advantage to being a long-range unit. Now for the alternate mode. Which, just like the regular Justice Gundam, this is actually a multi-mode unit rather than a purging unit like the Justice Meteor is. So yes, we will purge. About the same amount of damage. By the way, I completely forgot to ask Koolkid, do you have any defensive bonuses on that unit?
This unit, no, it's all mobility.
Alright. Oh, I guess it would be. The melee in both modes is actually pretty darn similar, despite the fact that the weapon arrangements of the melee are different. He's dual wielding here, but he's got the beam naginata thing going, so...
Actually, I think in the, when you use the melee, when he's coming around, he's using the shin blades.
In this? With the weapon
Yeah,
one?
yeah, the weapon one.
No, he's not. It's all from the wrist. I think it's in the other mode. Actually, no, it's not, and I just took away... Okay, moving on. My favorite weapon, beam boomerangs. Where are you going? 2 shots with a slow. Now, you cannot double inflict until, it wears off the first time. And, it's not about the damage with a homing boomerang. It's about the accuracy of a homing boomerang, or I'm sorry, beam boomerangs, and about the ability to put a slow on there. That's the advantage of using these things. And I think beam boomerangs, they're all slows. There might be 1 or 2 exceptions. I don't remember exactly, but that's okay. I don't have to. Boost down 3 hit. Now there he uses the kick. And now for the spec. A lot of melee as predicted, and honestly the exact same amount of damage that you would if you just hit him with the weapon 1 melee and that was it. Now something else I want to point out, 1, 2, 3, 4, switch to that, boost down. You cannot 8-hit with this because, well, it does have a ranged weapon on there, so, that's an issue. Must rebuild SP. Typical rock affair. Interestingly enough, moves a little less distance in this mode. Now, unless I'm cheating, let me double check. Let's start this one. Just because I think I read it wrong. Yeah, it definitely comes up a little short. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because the backpack gives it a bigger advantage. I'm not certain.
God, that would be amazing if that was the case.
Yeah, it's definitely coming up short. Need a little more. Wait, I guess I wouldn't need full... Okay, whatever. If you would be so kind as to... Whoa. Wow. Okay, and then, if I remember correctly, there is a shield near the mode. Is there? Yes, there is. So yeah, the shield is only on the one side, which is weird. If you break the shield, the little beam field that's attached to it doesn't appear for whatever reason. But the shield itself doesn't break, probably because it has the homing boomerang on there. So, there's the boomerang. Yay.
For whatever reason, I thought, because I don't know if I was swinging at the back or not, while you had that booster out on the field, while you had that booster on, I thought I was getting guards.
Well, I turned my side to you, so...
Yeah, that's true, too.
And the reason I had him drop me to 50%... Oh, by the way, yes, I also have radar, so... Boy, this booster extension works really well. I can turn the corner once, twice. Oh, look, I just beat SR Sinanju. I can boost for a long time with infant gemmer cancer or neutron gemmer cancer because this is pretty good. Except when you jump. Unfortunately, because those great big wings are supposed to keep you in there for longer than whatever, you will not, as you can see, you will not recharge your booster until not only do you touch the ground again, but you actually have to stop moving in order to recharge. No.
No!
Yes.
No! You...
Yes.
No! I had you! I had it!
No. Okay, so, despite the fact that it's classified as a close-range combat unit, it's a shooty rock. And ironically doesn't have any ranged weapons on it. And I don't count the homing weapon as that either. Um, to me, it's just kind of, believe it or not, Infinite Justice is kind of boring. It doesn't have, it's a shooty rock, so you're going to have good boost duration, you're going to have really good melee, regardless of which mode you're in. And by the way, the melee acts exactly the same in both modes in terms of weapon 1. Beyond that, you've got an average beam rifle and a beam cannon and blah blah blah. So it's kind of generic, one size fits all. It's an SS rank, don't get me wrong, and it performs rather nicely. Uh, One thing I would like to note, though, is this thing is covered in ballistic weaponry, believe it or not. You've got 4 Vulcan guns on the cheek guards, or the ear guards, I guess, whatever it is. And then you've got 4, not 1 pair, but 2 pair bogies, machine cannons on the torso. So it does seem a little unusual that they're not utilizing those machine guns. That actually was one of the problems I had with the regular Justice Gundam, is it used Vulcan guns rather than the heavier machine guns that it should have had. You would think Infinite Justice would compensate for this, but I'm not complaining. Well, yeah, I am complaining, but it's far from a downside. The beam cannon's nice to have around. Beam rifle, it's an average. It has average damage, average reload, average range, blah blah blah, whatever. Uh, Please don't crack your knuckles when we're recording. Seriously, that is annoying. The
Sorry.
long range beam cannon, you don't really need to crack your knuckles. It's not going to do anything for you. If anything, it wears out your joints sooner. Gives you arthritis and shit. The long range beam cannons, they're just kind of there. They exist. They penetrate, and that's kind of really the only big advantage. The other thing, they essentially act like just a pair of long-range beam rifles. They're not even really cannons with a knockdown property. It's just kind of long-range beam rifle with a medium reload, and that's kind of it. You're not stationary to fire, thankfully, and they penetrate, and that's kind of it. Obviously, going to the melee mode, I've heard a lot of people complain that they wish that this alternate mode weapon 3 had done some sort of a stun or a boost down or a blah 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 or something along those lines. Yeah, I can understand that. It is unusual to have, of all things, an SS rank to not have some that's going to have, I'll say, a dedicated melee mode, which, this is a melee unit. It doesn't have anything for that weapon 3 melee. It's just a common 3-part combo. And you don't even get an 8 hit out of it. Should this have been a pure melee mode? Maybe. Depends how you look at it. But of course I'm not going to complain because it does have that wonderful, I almost said reload, which is totally wrong, that wonderful beam boomerang on there. So this mode is kind of meh. But in a strange way, it's also pretty much like the Sword Strike. It's just like Sword Impulse. It's just like Sword Calamity. It's just like Sword Strike E Lucas Custom. They all do pretty much the same thing. So to have a dedicated mode here, and then have it switch and have another melee thingamabobby here with some just some plain ordinary beam rifle stuff. Ultimately, this becomes a bit of a meh unit. You will see them floating around in PvP, and you will see them being used, and yes, they are really nice to have around, but all in all, kind of boring in terms of its weapons layout. There's nothing particularly unique or special about this, unless you go to the skills, in which case you have the Neutron Jammer Cancer, which of course is identical to the Strike Freedom Gundam. Infinite booster capacity, infinite horizontal booster capacity. You still consume when jumping. Increase search distance, and you get radar. Increase search distance, which honestly doesn't make a lot of difference. Because, yeah, to me, increased search distance doesn't mean anything unless you have your head blown off. Unless you get you Gundam beam mag cutting. So, in terms of, well, what I do with this, you can go about it a couple ways. Since it is so average and boring, you can do an attack type. And, just do this and maybe this to reduce your jumping ability and your quick dash. Um, you could do this. You could do this, I guess. Oh wait, that's right. You can't because it doesn't have a full burst special attack. If only I knew what a full burst special attack was.
When the rest of the world out there.
hmm
Thanks, OGP.
Um,
Or is that
agility.
a softmax thing?
I'm sorry. What?
The full burst special attack, is that an OGP or a softmax thing?
Well, it's English either way, and OG Planet is known to be stupid, so it's kind of difficult to tell.
That's true.
So, if I understand correctly, it's supposed to be for a ranged special attack, but why it is this is not blanked out on Infinite Justice is beyond me, because it doesn't have a ranged special attack. It has a melee special attack and it has a beam special attack, so technically this should be blanked out. But for whatever reason, it's not, even though it's called Enhanced Ranged Special Attack. Well, this doesn't have a ranged special attack, so does that mean this applies to all special attacks, and it's not just ranged? And I wish Softmax had been clear about it, and I wish OGP would get their hat out of the sand. Please? What is this? Explain it to us. I don't get it. I give you money so that you can fix shit like this. Moving on. You can do an attack type with it if you'd like to, primarily so you could do this, and then when it reaches level 12 you can do this. I ran
That
with a...
omni... I'm sorry. I'm sorry. For a melee player like me, that omnidirectional crit is so beautiful. Always.
Missing down here? Yeah. Oh, 7%. Oh, whoopty shit. The defense type, I went with just my preference, and I'll skip through here quickly. I use the defense type because I like to make the unit last as long as possible, and I'm really bad with melee, so I went with the defense type. Although why it is, I did the medium range reload. I think it was to compensate for the beam rifle. The homing boomerangs always have a fast enough reload, so you don't have to worry about that. But I think I was just concerned, like, I might have said the beam rifle reloaded, like, it's an average reload rate, but I think it was like, I want to make it slightly above average, so, 5% is going to make a really big difference, and I might put this on here. Or, if you're a little more into the melee side of things, like I went defense type just because I like to spam things. I didn't think it was necessary to spam the long range, although maybe just because I didn't have enough space here, I didn't go for the long range reload. Maybe I could, do something else with this. I'll be honest, I haven't used this in quite some time, but I don't look down on it in any way, shape, or form. It's boring, but whatever. I know that's not a very good selling point, but whatever. You could also go with a mobility type, just increase your agility and your quick dash and a whole bunch of other things like this. Enemy auto lock on distance decrease, that's always useful. No additional booster consumption when double jump. That's always useful. Let's see, decrease speed. Oh, descent speed is increased when descent key is used. I'm neutral on that one. No additional booster consumption when dash jump. This might... Koolkid, unless I'm much mistaken, this means you never use booster when jumping, when dash jumping? Is that right?
That would that from the way it's worded, that would be correct.
But in
Combined with
practice...
the in-jammer canceller, the only thing you got to worry about is vertical jumping.
So if you're walking or standing still and you jump, then you use booster?
Yeah, you would use booster just from walking or standing still.
But in terms of horizontal boosting and then you jump, you never use booster, right?
Right.
So in other words, you could jump twice and then hit the ground and then jump twice again and hit the ground and jump twice and hit the ground, and you'd never have to worry about booster consumption ever. The only time you have to worry about is when you're walking and you jump. Not even
Ye-
when um
Whoops. Headphones came out. All right. Sorry about that.
so this can be a really really useful thing to have, especially on neutron jammer cancer, which is already arguably an OP skill. But yeah, and you know, you could also go with a balance type, which really doesn't give you any advantages to anything. You could just kind of do this. This would be a fine thing to run. And then, you know, this and I made it a defense type just because why not? Maybe on this last slot here I should do like the you know, the 3 points of attack up, which is really really big noticeable thing. So I don't have any hard recommendations. I don't see anything really wrong with it, other than if you prefer to spam ranged, you might want to increase the reloads on these, or you might want to increase the reload on this, because after all, beam boomerangs are my favorite homing weapon. Beyond that, I really don't have any strong recommendations. If you want to make it last as long as possible, sure, do the HP defense thing, and you don't have to worry about reloads or anything like that. If you can use a long range beam cannon, if you can use an average beam rifle, you're not going to find any disappointments here. It's going to be the same amount of damage, same kind of reload, and blah 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 blah. And now, on the other hand, Koolkid, who is a little more aggressive than me and probably does the close range thing a bit better than me, his lag also helps him a bit. He probably has a different recommendation for you, so please take the floor on that.
Well, as far as a recommendation from me, um, it's true that I would prefer an attack build, but the way some people portray it, like, oh, just go full attack, you'll do heavy amounts of damage. Okay, but what happens when you get hit? What happens if you get that boost down that cancels out your NJC? You
Really?
still going?
Wait. Boost down affects neutron jammer cancer?
Oh yeah, dude.
Really?
Yeah, boost down. What is it? And you probably didn't notice it yourself, but the alternate mode weapon 3, that actually inflicts, I think, or I think it takes away the boost.
No. There's no affliction. It's just a combo. The only affliction on the entire unit is the beam boomerangs. It gives you a slow. That's it. That's one of the common complaints I've heard, is that it doesn't have enough afflictions attached to it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
it's just a melee combo, and that's it.
I know for absolute that I know for absolute that I can't access as much as yours. I think yours is higher than mine.
It's level 11, so
Mine's level 9. So yeah, you can definitely hit higher parts than me. But in if anything, I'd say this. I don't know if I should bring this up from a previous video or not, but I say go
you
with
can bring
the
up previous videos. That's okay.
okay. The I've said it in the Strike Freedom. Um, I would go with a mobility build, but the main thing that I would concern is just tag and run. Tag and run means,
Hit and run, you mean?
yeah, I call it tag and run for some reason.
So in other words, you would go for poke ability on this. So just a quick little hit and then move on, poke and then run, poke and run, right?
Right. Just
Hmm.
just at least one or two hits, get out of there. Come back around, one or two hits, get out of there. And
Hmm.
if anything, when you're going for a high jump, I'd recommend the diagonal jump. I call it the diagonal jump canceller now, the enhanced jump booster.
Where's that right there? Where'd that go? Wait, there you go. Yeah, that will be coupled with the neutron jammer canceller. This basically means once you start jumping or once you start boosting, you'll never stop. unless you get, as Koolkid said, unless you get a boost down or you get a hard knockdown from not a melee. Well, yeah, you still have, this does not have anti-flinch on it, and it doesn't have immunity to long-range stun and knockdown. So, but beyond those two little things, and maybe something else I'm missing, basically once you start moving, you won't stop. So yeah, or
And
once you start boosting, you won't stop. So this obviously has great value to it.
on top of that, if you know how to MCA really well, you can hit those high places without no jump whatsoever, or without no boost whatsoever. Combine those two, so really heavy combos. But I'm just a
I'm
melee
gonna take
player.
these
What do I know?
off. Not like it's gonna cost me anything, anyways. Okay, so there's that. So what kind of build
And
would you recommend then?
mm, if any, if anything, I definitely go for the HP increase. 500 points may not be that much, but last as long as possible, you know?
This basically allows you to survive a spec and then maybe a 3-hit combo or a 5-hit combo, and that would be it. But it allows you to survive that melee combo at close range, or maybe 2 or 3 beam rifle shots. So it has its advantages, but it's particularly useful. It's particularly noticeable when you couple it with, I'm in the wrong tree. It's particularly useful when you team it up with the defensive capabilities of something. So
Right. Now, another skill I might recommend would probably be the enhanced mobility characteristic. The enhanced mobility characteristic, the level 3 that's there,
the level 3. Okay, so that which agility, which is useful, although I've never noticed it. Dash speed increase, moving speed increase. Fair enough.
I definitely would recommend the enemy lock-on distance increase
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea too.
and the enhanced jump booster,
Which is the level 12 thing, right? Yeah.
which is the level 12 thing.
Yeah,
Like
that's good.
out of those four, just hit and run. That's all I would recommend. And if you can get somebody alone, just that alternate mode will immediately eat somebody if you've hit them enough times. And then one of my recommended combinations is the first weapon, third weapon spec. Like, don't complete the third weapon, just immediately go straight into the spec, and it's an automatic death.
Yeah, I can argue with that. So yeah, it'd be 4 hits of this, 2 hits of this, and then go into the special attack. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Although remember that the full combo is not even gonna like this barely takes half HP. This might get you 2 half HP, and the spec might kill them. So they might have like 1 or 2 melee hits, 1 or 2 beam rifle hits left in them. So yeah, or you could just back off and use the homing boomerangs. Just add insult to injury that way.
Right. So yeah, I would recommend those four parts for the Infinite Justice.
I'm just sitting here thinking about it, and all of these things, well, most of these things I can actually acquire in the balance type, just because I don't think much of this unit. It's like I said, it's kind of boring, but at the same time, it's still kind of fun. So it's like, I might be willing to just do a balance type, just 'cause I don't I don't really feel the need to lean on any of these right now. Oh, maybe I should do a mission type. Um, but yeah, okay. Combine. If you love the hell out of this thing, you'll combine it. Me, whatever. Uh,
My statement to anybody who goes for a combination, I would recommend, like, it's I'm guessing Ava here said it a multitude of times. Just, if you love a unit that much, go for the combination. I mean, it's well worth it.
I can't remember off the top of my head what all's used in the blueprint for this, but I'm under the impression it's not impossible to get. It's not in other words, you don't have to roll the 14K machine. You don't have to make multiple blueprints in order to get to it. So it's not ultimately not an outright difficult S rank, or let alone an SS rank. It's not a difficult SS rank to make. I think it's Aegis and regular Justice and Koolkid. I hope you're pulling up the blueprint right now.
I am.
Um, is it the din? The regular din, that little purple colored thing? I think.
Give me 1 second.
You can't just look it up in the shop.
That's where I'm at right now. I was using the keyword search. Alright. Justice, Sword Impulse, Aegis, M1A Astray, and the regular Den, all at level 7.
Okay, so the Sword Impulse might cost you a bit because you have to get an Impulse Gundam, and then you have to get the Sword Impulse built. So that's probably going to be your biggest
That right there is
biggest
going to be
factor.
the biggest drawback, yeah.
Yeah, so Justice Gundam, Sword Impulse, that's probably the most difficult one to get. The M1A Astray, that's the blue-colored sniper version, by the way. Aegis Gundam, you can get one of those for free from the quest, or it's not an impossible A rank to get your hands on. So those Sword Impulse, honestly, is probably going to be the most expensive thing you have to go for. Justice Gundam, all you really got to do is get through the advanced combat tutorial. I'd like to see you try. But yeah, like in terms of SS ranks, not a difficult thing to get. Let's see, I want to say Strike Freedom came out first, though. Where is it? No. According to this, there it is. It came out afterwards. Yeah, Freedom Gundam, Sword Strike, whatever. CU Deep Arms, I've heard that one's actually a little difficult to get if you haven't already done the Quest version. Astray Gold Frame, whatever. M1 Astray, whatever. Freedom Gundam, obviously everybody's going to have one of these. Why am I talking about Strike Freedom? I should have done that in the last video. Infinite Justice. Yeah, Sword Impulse will probably be the most difficult thing for you to get. So, honestly, in terms of SS ranks, this is definitely one of the easier ones to get your hands on. And you're not, and it's probably as a result of the fact that it's easy enough to get. That's probably why it's so kind of average and meh and whatever. And Koolkid, honestly, I can't remember if it uses the, because one of the things that's kind of badass about Infinite Justice, that was an improvement actually over the regular Justice Gundam, technologically speaking, is that the the reason that there's this hot pink along the front of the backpack is because the backpack actually acts as a drone once in a while. And as a result of this, you can actually fly through things and kind of scrape alongside a battleship or impale a mobile suit or a mobile armor, and you've got those beam blades right there. What you don't see here in the animation model is that the exact same effect happens from knee to foot. There's another beam blade that happens from there to there. So you can actually kick beam boomerangs around, which is strange, but gotta
It's
admit,
funny as hell.
yeah, it's actually pretty kind of badass. Like they actually considered the possibility that a beam weapon, or I'm sorry, a beam blade can be located somewhere other than a handheld weapon, and you have not just one but two examples of this on the Infinite Justice. Did I say Strike Freedom? I meant to say Infinite Justice. So that's something that's really nice to have around.
And
Uh,
and in the melee spec, that's why you see the backpack ram into the opponent,
yeah, that's right.
ram into the person you're specking, because those beam boomerang or those beam wings are taking effect right there. Just
Thank you, Chewbacca.
uh,
Obviously, both shoulders. I can't remember. I think the third one ends up on the wing. Nope, it ends up
no
on the
shit.
shield. Yeah,
Who the
nobody's
hell
gonna
is
see it.
gonna see that?
Yeah, no one's gonna see that. So, and obviously they don't change. Um,
To
I,
each
I don't
person
know.
their own color scheme.
I don't even know if I can recolor this the way it was because like I don't use pink. So this is gonna be a challenge for me.
If you go back to the pink you were just using before that,
Hmm.
that's pretty much like 99% spot on.
Yeah, but it's not 100%.
Well, you can always make it look like what it did with the clear or with the paint eraser. Just don't save it.
There. There you go. What do you think? Close enough. And then, oh wait, no. And then there's, let's see, where's my yellow? There's my yellow. That goes there.
They're
Goes to the gray. So
yeah.
it's actually something more like this. Which, you
Mm,
know, it's not too bad.
there.
Nope, 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 nope. That doesn't work for me.
Navy blue. Navy blue.
Oh, that's
Mm,
better. Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much what it looks like ordinarily. And then with that said, you get the majority of it. You get all of this in one go. So, you know.
Which thank God, except for the beam boomerang on the shield.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, I'm not, because I was going to bring it up. Except for the beam boomerang on the shield, which makes no sense whatsoever. Uh, this, oops. The beam boomerang should be the same color as everything else in here, but for whatever reason, Softmax and the Infinite Wisdom decide to make the Infinite Justice's beam boomerang stick out like a very sore thumb. This is something I cannot change, and it's, I'll be honest, it's a bit frustrating.
Which right which right there I can give off a few examples. One other example I should say of beam boomerangs changing is the Destiny. The Destiny's
Yeah,
boomerangs change right there with the main body.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, it's a mode change. The beam boomerang's disappeared for some strange reason. Not sure why. The other thing, you actually get stuck with a different color. Let's see, is that right? Yeah, you get stuck with the gray that's on here, which, okay, it's metallic, or it's, you know, it's metal surface. I don't know why I brought that up. But the one that kind of drives everybody crazy is this really odd kind of Tron-inspired neon green, which is spotted in a couple of different places. It's located in the thrusters here on the wings, and these calf thrusters, for whatever reason, they have them on the skirt armor there. It's on the crotch, more skirt armor there. So the green, the neon green, is a little difficult to deal with. But you know,
To each
if yeah, to each
with
person their own. I agree. Yeah, that's fine.
because I personally like I before you even brought it up, I personally didn't know the neon green was there in the calf thrusters and on the skirt. Like I thought the green was on the chest only. Personally, I like the green on the chest.
Yeah, yeah. There's all the white bits, and then the backpack gets its own coloring. Nope, correction. No, it doesn't. For whatever reason, the shield gets colored when you color the backpack. I'm not sure why, but yeah. Okay. So it's kind of average, it's kind of meh. Koolkid recommends a high mobility build with an optional HP increase. I say if you want to go with the melee, you'll make yourself last as long as possible. People are going to be shooting at you. Make yourself last a bit. No, yeah, agility, or where is it? There it is. No, that's not it either. Increasing your agility, which is actually only 1 point right here, as opposed to 2 points right here. Adding agility is not going to hurt you. Adding damage is not going to hurt you either. It is kind of meh, it is kind of average. You might want to have that medium reload, although I will confess, well, I don't have to confess nothing. 5% is shit, but I would still, you know, advocate it as little good as it does. Um, but for me, it kind of gets to the point where the things that I would recommend using on it, you could actually go with the balance type, and it would make no difference because you still get that, and you still get that, and you can still get to that. So, yeah. For me, it's meh. For Cool Kid, he's a Seed fanboy. Don't listen to what he's saying. And so with that, Cool Kid, once again, thank you very much.
No problem.
And this is AV Unit 4A saying thanks for tuning in.